Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Flavor and Fiction. Today's category was a book by a Native American author, and I chose The Roundhouse by Louise Erdrich, who is Chippewa. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. And it's about a 13-year-old boy named Joe whose life is turned upside down when his mother is raped and just brutally attacked. And she was able to escape, but, of course, the whole family's torn apart and they're affected in different ways. And so while she was, she kind of locked herself away from the world, and her sister would bring dinner over for her husband and son. And the main thing that she would bring over was a noodle casserole. And it didn't specify what kind of noodle casserole, so I just chose one off of Pinterest. So that's why we're making a beef noodle casserole. So let's get started. Okay, so I just put the water on for the egg noodles, and this is the brand I'm using, Pennsylvania Dutch. It calls for wide egg noodles. And the recipe for this will be in the description box, by the way. So it calls for 8 ounces, but the smallest package at my store was 12. So I'm gonna try to guesstimate what 8 ounces is from this. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So while we're waiting for that, let me tell you a little bit about Joe. So his father is a tribal lawyer. So on reservations, they go by tribal law, but like the second you step out, it's now like state law and federal law. But they have some leeway with their tribal law. So his mother is like a social worker, and it comes into play as to why she was attacked. One of the themes in this is it kept bringing into play tribal law versus state law. So where the attack took place was the Roundhouse. And it used to be like an old meetup place for ceremonies, but now they had a new place, so it was kind of like an abandoned building. But on one side, if the attack had happened on one side, it would have been tribal law. If it happened on the other side, it would have been state law. And if it happened on another side, it would have been federal law. So because she couldn't remember what side the attack had happened on, even though they knew who did it at this point, they couldn't try him. They had to let him go, which is like the craziest thing. Okay, so the water's still boiling, and now I got the meat browning. And it calls for garlic salt. Is that the same as garlic powder? Well, we about to find out together. So back to the story. So Joe and he has 3 friends that he can count on, namely his best friend Cappy. So they look for clues on their own, trying to piece the story together, because people are trying to keep things from them because they're so young and they're so worried about them knowing too much information. But Joe is tired of seeing his mom like dwindle away, like physically, like she can't eat. She's extremely jumpy, spiritually, everything. He starts having dreams that he thinks mean something. So he takes it upon himself to do his own research and get his own evidence. So when they get to the part where, they get the man who did it and he's released, now Joe is like, okay, well, if no law is going to handle this, then I'm the only one who can save my mother and bring her back. Because as long as he's loose, she's going to be afraid to come outside and live her life. So, what do you guys think happened? I'll get back to you right after I check on this beef. So I just added some salt and pepper and garlic to the meat. So, while I'm waiting on that, back to the story. So sometimes a lot of children are sometimes adopted out of the tribe, but it's very uncommon to be adopted in. However, there's a woman named Linda, and she had been adopted into the tribe. Is that burning? Hold on. Okay, then you want to strain your meat. Here we got this cooking. So put the meat back in the pan. Add a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. Okay, then you want to let this simmer over a low heat for about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, these are supposed to boil for 7 to 8 minutes. I have no idea how long I left these in here. Whoops. Okay, so this is where it gets good. So, Linda was born with a twin brother. And she's a non-Indian person. She's a white woman. So, she's born with a twin brother, Lyndon. She was born deformed. And her parents decided, the doctor was asking, do you want her to live or not? Because unless he helped, she would have died, like on her own. While he was asking them, a night janitor there, an Indian woman, picked her up and shook her, turned her upside down and shook her to get her to gasp for breath. So the parents wanted her to die, and the nurse was, the janitor was like, too late, I already saved her. So they put her in foster care at first, but no one wanted her because she was physically deformed and they thought that she would always have problems. So the janitor, when she decided to adopt her, everyone was relieved. Like, great, take her. So the Indian family took her in and raised her. Fast forward, now, once all this is going on, or this is before the attack happened, her birth mother contacts her. She finds out that her brother is gravely ill and needs a kidney. And that's basically why the birth mother had contacted her. So, against everyone's advice, she gives her brother the kidney, and he lives. And he ends up being the one that rapes Joe's mother. So now there are a bunch of people who want to kill Lyndon since he's not going to meet justice. And I really don't want to ruin the ending because it surprised me. Okay, now here comes the total spoiler alert. So if you're going to read the book, maybe you don't want to listen to this part. So, Joe decides, since no law can take care of him, I'm going to take care of him. So, his friend Cappy steals his uncle's rifle. So, he kind of camps out at the golf course every morning. And he told Cappy, he was like, look, thanks for giving me the gun, but you're not coming with me because I don't want you to be implicated. Like, thanks for being a friend, but like, I'm not even going to tell you what morning I go. And he does it. He shoots him, shot him like right in the gut, kind of in the side. But he didn't kill him. Like, he was still alive. Like, he's like crawling away. And Joe, who's not a great shot, shoots again and misses. And his hands are shaking and he can hardly hold the gun. And all of a sudden, someone comes up behind him and takes the gun. And it's Cappy. And Cappy just, without a word, just moved him over and aimed the gun and shot the guy in the head. It made me look at my friends like, I mean, if that's not a friend, I don't know what is. It made me reevaluate all my friends. Like, Nicole, would you ever do that for me? I think Chanel might. I don't know. But Nicole, if you're not going to pick up a gun for me. Okay, so that's the ending. It was really surprising and really emotional because, like, you're happy, but you're not because it's not a good thing that happened, but it is. It was weird. But, like, yeah, this author will take you all through your feelings. So I really like her style of writing. I'm definitely going to check out her other work. But for right now, I'm about to go check out these egg noodles. So while all that's happening, we're going to mix together the other ingredients. First up, sour cream. I like sour cream. Then we have 1 cup of low, I got low fat, but just any small curd cottage cheese. Okay, it calls for a 1/2 cup of diced green onions, and this is what I'm putting in. All right, you talked me into it. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna put this mixture into the meat. Doesn't this look interesting? Okay, you're gonna spray your 9x13 pan with some non-stick cooking spray. Is that too much? We're gonna find out. Come on, break it up. Then you dump in this delightful looking meat mixture. It says 1 cup of cheese, which is about half this pack. I don't think it'll hurt to be just a little liberal with it. And just, you know, just a pinch for good luck over here. We need something. Okay, here's the finished product. Just took it out the oven. This thing smells so good. Okay, here I go. Look at that steam. Ooh, maybe I should, whatever. I'm hungry. Hot. I like it. The end. Time to eat. I mean, thank you for joining me for another episode of Flavor and Fiction. Hope you enjoyed.